use of cutting-edge innovative technology, including mobile, computing and satellite technologies to achieve an information society in Africa. We organize non-government ICT stakeholders in Africa for effective local...
I'll start that again. Good evening, everyone. AfICTA Summit, and we welcome everyone from far and wide. This session would start in a minute, but housekeeping rules, please. One, not the one on the floor, please mute your mic. Avoid touching on your mic while the speaker is on the floor. Also, please, there's a Q form. Kindly put your questions and answer there. Kindly use to please introduce yourself, your organization, and if possible, raise some issues referring to abbreviation that may be of concern to you. We are talking about ICANN. They have a large number of acronyms. So please, if you find any one that is difficult, you can just post it in the chat room and somebody will get back to you. On that, if the moderator of the next session and the Section 4, which will be discussing ICANN business community outreach to African business. No other person. EO Digisphere Limited. If she is on the floor, I hand over to Ms. Arnola Akinyemi.
Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have him have her yet, but we had a test session very early this morning. I trust that she's gearing up to actually join. So maybe while we wait for that, we'll just enjoy these few tunes.
Okay, go ahead, sir. You have the floor. Go ahead with the exhibition, virtual exhibition.
Okay.
What does ICANN do? To reach another person on the internet, you type an address into your device, a name or a number. That address must be unique, so computers know where to find each other. ICANN maintains and administers these unique identifiers across the world. Without ICANN's management of this system, the domain name system, or DNS as it's known, we wouldn't have a global, scalable internet where we can find each other. Within ICANN's multi-stakeholder model, civil society and internet users, the private sector, national and international organizations, governments, research, academic and technical communities are all represented. ICANN's community-driven policy. To keep pace with dynamic technologies and rapid innovation, ICANN enables consensus-driven, multi-stakeholder policy development with broad representation from the global internet community. Competition and choice. From accrediting over 1,000 registrars to introducing new top-level domains, ICANN works to expand consumer choice by fostering competition and innovation in the domain name marketplace. Which functions does ICANN coordinate? The domain name system, Internet Protocol Address Allocation, the Protocol Parameter Registry, root server systems, generic top-level domain name system management, country code top-level domain name DNS, and time zone database management. Security and stability. ICANN supports DNS security through technical training and engagement, coordinating and collaborating with the community in the implementation of standards such as DNSSEC. Interoperability. ICANN's work enables new technologies to flourish while maintaining interoperability across the global internet. For example, management of the unique protocol identifiers allows communication using secure connections between users. contractual compliance, ICANN oversees the contracts it maintains and enforces consensus policies developed through the community-driven process. ICANN's contractual compliance function seeks to ensure compliance with the agreements and the consensus policies. Who's involved? A number of groups, each of which represents a different interest on the internet. All of them come together with the board of directors. The supporting organizations on addressing, country code names, and generic names. The advisory committees, at large, governmental, the root server system, security and stability. And the technical advisory bodies, the technical liaison group, and the Internet Engineering Task Force. How do I participate? Sign up for updates at myicann.org. Join one of the many public comment forums on ICANN's website. Attend ICANN's public meetings in person or online to provide input at a public forum. Join one of the many public comment forums on ICANN's website or advisory committees. ICANN's public
Ever pondered how technology can seamlessly blend with humans and processes? Well, the answer is not far-fetched. It's right here at Contemporary Consulting Limited. This is not just a company. It's a vibrant digital universe where innovation meets expertise, and where we have been lighting up the ICT sector for 3 fruitful decades. Located in the heart of Abuja, Nigeria, Contemporary Consulting Limited stands as a beacon of creativity. Our collaborations are as diverse as our expertise, spanning across the federal government of Nigeria, World Bank, and the European Union. Our mission is simple: to offer cutting-edge ICT consultancy services that are
Thank you so much, Technical, for the support. I want to quickly go back again to the floor of the House and call upon the distinguished captain of the next session, the 4th session for today's event. Sorry for the background noise. I want to call on the indefatigable Amazon of Digisphere Limited and CEO herself, Mrs. Akiemi, to kick off the next session, which will be business community outreach to our business owners. Ms. Anela, are you with us?
Yes, thank you so much, Program Director. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're joining us from. This is the first session for today, but the first of the ICANN of the Summit. On behalf of AfICTA, I would like to extend a warm welcome to everyone as we're here today for a momentous occasion. An outreach dedicated to African business owners, exploring the critical topic of the role of the new that is the generic top-level domain. This session is proudly sponsored by the ICANN BC, that's the business constituency of the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. It is truly me to serve as the moderator for this session. The important discussion on how they can seek contribute innovation and African businesses. Sincere gratitude once again to ICANN BC for this unwavering support in organizing the session commitment to the growth and prosperity of African businesses. Today, we're going to go on a journey together to explore the transformation of the new GTLDs, African business owners. As we all know, the business landscape is undergoing a profound digital revolution. The internet has emerged as a game changer, offering opportunities for growth, innovation, and global connectivity. Within this digital realm, the new GTLD has emerged as a beacon of change, providing businesses with a unique that can revolutionize their online brand, boost market presence, and foster healthy competition. African businesses with the rich entrepreneurial spirit and untapped potential stand to gain immensely from embracing this digital innovation. During this outreach session, we have gathered a distinguished panel of experts who will share their valuable insights, experiences, and expertise on how the new GTLD can facilitate innovation and simulate healthy competition within African business landscape. I implore all of us to join in as I would be introduced list panelists. Once again, my name is Ariola Akinyemi, CEO Digisphere Limited, a member of the ICANN. On my list is Mr. Bob. Are you there? Bob, are you there?
Hi, everyone. I'm actually trying to fiddle with my unmute. It looks like I found it. You guys can hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you loud and clear. Bob Ochen is the Senior Director for the domain program with ICANN. Mr. Lucky Maslela, are you there?
Good morning.
Mr. Lucky Maslela.
Yes. Good morning. I am here indeed. Yes. Lucky Masilala. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Lucky Maslela, you're welcome. He is the Chief Executive Officer for ZA Central Registry that is in charge of .Africa. Also, Mr. Yovi Atonu.
Good morning. My name is not Lucky, but I'm very lucky to be in this.
No, I said Yovi.
Yes, I'm saying my name is not Lucky, but I'm very lucky to be in this group this morning.
All right, good to have you again, Yovi. Mr. Yovi is the Director of Stakeholder Engagement and Operations for ICANN Africa. You're welcome. Dr. Jameson Olufuye, are you there?
Oh, sure, I'm here. Greetings, everybody.
All right, good to have you on the call, Doctor. That is Dr. Jameson Olufuye is the CEO, Contemporary Consultants Limited, and the former chair, AfICTA. He was also the finance and operation at the ICANN BC for about 6 years. Okay, and then the last but not the least is Yusuf Kilio. Okay, I think we would kickstart the session. Like I said earlier, what we're discussing is the new GTL program and how it can foster innovation and competition in Africa. I would like to invite Bob Ochen, who is to give us his presentation, who is from ICANN, the Senior Director, TLD. Bob, are you ready?
and thank you very much. I hope you can hear me well. I think so that I don't inconvenience, the rest of the speakers, this eminent panel. Do I have an idea of how much time I have? I'm okay to have the whole day or the whole hour or 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, it would be nice it would be nice if we keep the presentation within 15 minutes. That would be great.
Okay, great. So probably I'll take you through a few slides here very quickly so that we run through this discussion. I know we have veterans here in the room, and not all of this is new to people here. 1 second, slide deck. Yeah, it should be this one. It should be this one. So thank you very much. I'll try and be quick and focus on the key areas that I would like the audience here to take back with them. And I do recognize my seniors, including in the industry. So Lucky, great to see you, and Yaovi, all the way from Cotonou. And always a pleasure to be in the presence of Dr. Jimson. So, we are going through a season that will deliver us at some point to an application stage for top-level domain names, for new top-level domain names. In other words, before we got here, there was a different process. As you know, within ICANN, we work with policies. So there's a policy development process, and then there's a policy implementation phase, and then there's a policy execution phase. Now, the new GTLD program is a result of a policy development process. We started quite a while back, and most of you could be aware about this. For this particular round that we are currently discussing, its policy development process started all the way in 2015. And I'll take you through that journey very quickly so that you can appreciate, how that work has gone to date. But there are two thematic tied together with new generic names and their opening. Why is this important? Why now? Why is this always a discussion within the ICANN community? And you see there, we're talking about universal acceptance and new generic top-level domain names. And they tie in very closely, because at the end of the day, part of the intention and the objective is to ensure that the internet is accessible to everyone in their respective languages, in their respective writing ways and scripts, but at the same time that you and me should also be able to communicate freely, in those respective scripts and languages, so that if the internet allows me to write my name in a particular way, and I send you a message, your systems should accept that message. So that's the element of universal acceptance. So very quickly here on it, things to allow me to see my headline. Okay, so that is the agenda that I have for us. Very quick introduction. Enabling digital inclusivity via UA, as we call it, in the world of acronyms, and then which I'm sure has got critical delivery milestones that I would want the audience to take with them today. As we know, the internet, is a global network of networks, and over the years, this is growing. I think this does not need to be overemphasized here. Today, you're talking about 5.3 billion on the internet. Someone would ask you, how about that other portion that is off the internet? Where should the focus be? Those that are already connected, or those that are yet to be connected? And depending on which is your source, different projections in the kind of connections we'll have by 2025, in terms of devices and people. Others will give you 75 billion. So it depends on what is your reference. But why is this important? From a domain name perspective, as this growth of the internet has been happening, so have been domain names. So for example, you have domain names in Latin letters, which is A to Z, 0 to 9, and domain names in internationalized, what we're calling internationalized domain names, which are characters that are in different scripts. So you could write .org in Arabic in a different way. You could write .com in Chinese, it will look different. You could write .net in Japanese differently. And the question is the internet able to easily and seamlessly, allow this? And when that happens, can you interchange information and messages, normally without any hiccup? So the introduction of the DNS has been growing since the 1980s. It did not start today. We had initially 7 TLDs. In 2005, another 7 new TLDs were added to the DNS. In 2012, the largest expansion of the DNS happened, which is the last round of new GTLDs that we are talking about, in which over 1,200 new GTLDs were added into the internet. Now, that has actually blown the scope and possibilities of domain names for you as an end user today. In other words, you could have names in Latin, as we saw, but also in other scripts, for example, Arabic, Cyrillic, and Chinese. So this is really to make the internet much more inclusive. That is the driver. And the new GTLD program is precisely to evolve the domain name space even further by ensuring that, we overcome legacy application systems, but also to accommodate more internationalized domain names. So what is the program? The purpose of the program is primarily to support diversity, to encourage competition, but also to enhance the utility of the DNS. Holistically, this creates opportunities to serve a diverse languages, scripts, cultures, but also, most importantly, to build an inclusive digital community. So inclusivity is at the core of expanding even the DNS namespace. When that happens, from a business perspective, there are an array of opportunities for brands, for communities, for cultures, for geographies to be part of the domain name space. So a name could actually target or reference any of these categories of people from a utility perspective. So where are we in the path to launching the next round of new top-level domain names? And notice that we are using the term next round because there is a current round that has not been completed yet. The 2012 round that I mentioned earlier is still ongoing. We still have a few applications that are yet to be concluded. So it is still an open round. And therefore, any subsequent round internally today, for there to be clarity on which round are you talking about, the 2012 round or the one after 2012. So the one after the 2012 round, or the one that is coming, we are calling it the next round. And we are projecting that it will take 3 years, broken down into 2 + 1. what is happening in these 3 years? The first 2 years, which you see here, 2 critical items are happening in parallel within ICANN, but also in very close partnership with the community and the board. Policy implementation work, which will result into a document called the Applicant Guidebook. Of course, for you players who have been part of this in the past, know that the Applicant Guidebook is the rule book on everything that guides the process, from how you apply, which names can be accepted, where do you apply, which systems are you applying from, how do you pay, how is the evaluations done, how do you raise objections, everything to the point where you get a contract. That is covered in the Applicant Guidebook. And the process to come up with this is led by ICANN together with a community group called the Implementation Review Team, or the IRT, as most of you could already know, or are even part of that group. Then in parallel, from a program implementation or a project execution internally still, we have something called design implementation readiness, which is really planning and preparing to operate the round. So that when the time comes, we have the systems, we have the tools, we have the people in place to actually now allow ICANN accept applications. Now, we anticipate that first broad group of 2 items will take us 2 years. And after that, we will need 1 more year. The policy applicant guide to find our operational processes and systems ready to accept applications. That's why we have a phase projected for 1 year, which then takes us to the application submission period. Now, if you sort of break this down further to just give a sense of what this means, we have the entire timeline. So the 2 + 1 year that I talked about, which is 3 years, which takes you to 2026. Now, in that time, you will see 4 broad things that are happening in parallel. And I wanted us, to very quickly just take note of, the critical ones. There is a program called the Applicant Support Program, which, is meant to sort of support applications from applicants that are not or do not have the capacity to afford the process somehow. So this will be a process to give support to some, of course, globally, restricted to any particular region, but there'll be a qualification criteria which is being worked on now. So the Applicant Support Program will be launched in Q4 of 2024, which you see here, and it will run all the way to Q1 of 2026. The intention here is that by the time it is ending, everyone who applied should have received a decision or an outcome, whether they are qualified or not. And if you have qualified, it gives you, it makes you prepare to submit your application as a qualified not to, using other methods. So that's why it is ending just before the opening of the applications actually open. At the same time, very quickly, there will be another process that is called the Registry Service Providers pre-evaluation. Pre-evaluated to participate in the next round. In other words, any registry operator that would want to be a backend provider, for example, or even apply for themselves, will need to be pre-evaluated before the program opens. This application for pre-evaluation will open in Q4 of 2024 as well. So they open at the same time with applicant support, and they are also intended before the actual opening of the round itself. So that's why you see Q4 of 2024 is an for those two services. And this is a service operator that is interested in, being part of this as a business. As I indicated, we have the policy implementation phase, which will produce the applicant guidebook running for 2 years and intended to be published in Q2 of 2025. And that leaves the actual program opening itself to Q2 of 2026. Meaning, if you asked me, when do we project to actually announce the date to accept applications? The projection is in Q2 of 2026. So I think in the interest of time, I will pause here and give it back to the moderator, and happy to take any. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much, Bob, for that excellent presentation. From what I can gather, the new GTLD round is intended to foster diversity, encourage competition, and enhance the utility of the DNS. Excellent presentation there. Thank you. Without further ado, there are a few, I don't know if anyone has questions for Bob, or maybe we should wait for all interventions and then we go to the Q&A. If you have questions, kindly put them in the Q&A pod. I would move next to Lucky Masalela. Lucky, haven't been operating a registry in the last GTLD rounds. What would you say are the regulatory challenges and opportunities associated with the use of the new GTLDs in Africa? Lucky?
Thank you, ma'am. I want to make sure my, let me, I think thanks to Bob again for sharing this new round, and also articulating on the fact that the round of 2012 is not yet closed, because there are certain applications pending. There were 1,200 names that were released, and pretty much 13 were coming from the continent. And of the 13 names, there is only 4 that are still resolving, or that are functioning, that are operational. So ideally, some of the challenges that we need to be looking for in the next round, because I think for us as a continent, it is not to drive the future looking at the rearview mirror, but it's to look at what is ahead of us, what is in front of us. How do we best position ourselves for the GTLDs is one, making sure that we are participating, we regroup, we organize ourselves, we participate in the sub-pros. This is the group or the entity that is responsible for producing this document that will be the guidebook for this process. If this guidebook is signed off without us participating, making a comment, we would have missed an opportunity in shaping the future of Africa in participating in the next round. Now, we have always talked to the continent's challenges, and we have seen the number of domain names that are being registered on the continent, a continent with 1.3 million people, youthful population, and still you see that we are still sitting around 3 million. What does that mean? We have to inject a different understanding and view of the importance of owning a domain name to enable one to participate in that ecosystem adequately and properly. And I think those are the 2 things for now that I can raise in preparation for the next round.
Thank you, Lucky, for that. What you have ampered on is our participation as African businesses in the policy decision-making process of the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, so that we can bring in the perspective of the African business owners into the applicant guidebook before it is concluded, if I get you correctly. Thank you for that.
That is yes. If I may add one other dimension, yes, if I may add one other dimension to this, because there is, for us, whilst ICANN has broken the entire process into phases, Bob has spoken to the next round having the policy development, the policy review, and the implementation. We also, as a continent, need to position ourselves for each of those phases as they unfold. Where are we in the development process? Where are we in the review process? And where are we in the implementation phase? Later on, Chair, I would like to talk about the implementation phase, how we can position ourselves and why we should be doing that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Lucky. I appreciate that. Dr. Jimson, you are next for me. I would like for you to share your insight on how African governments and policy makers incentivize the adoption of the new GTLDs and provide support for their use in promoting innovation and competition within the region.
Well, let me start by greetings everyone again, especially my colleagues on the panel and the moderator. Chair Lucky, good to see you. It's like you are not aging at all. And thanks, Bob, for that wonderful presentation. You make things very clear. And appreciating Yalvi and Pierre for being on the call this session. Well, first and foremost, as you said, I was BC chair for finance and operations. And so business people, of course, are always interested in the new opportunities. And opportunities do abound in this domain space. I'm even a registrar of the Nigerian.ng TLD. Well, as Lucky mentioned, 1.3 billion people with just 3 million domain. That means there is a huge gap. There is a disconnect. And it's good for us to identify this. And from what you mentioned, Chair Ariola, I think we need serious government intervention, one way or the other. I think there was a time we had issues with the Nigerian domain, the TLD, and the president then, Obasanjo, intervened. That's for Nigeria. That intervention brought some calm to the system. And we need to push it further to get the government to intervene. I think it lies more on us too, that are in the advocacy group, because in the process of registration, if there is such a requirement that to promote digitalization, transparency, and accountability in your operation, you need to have your presence on the internet with the domain, presence and things like that. That will a lot encourage. And we need to push more. And one of the cases we can make maybe to do a review of what we have done. Normally in project management, you kind of learn from experience, you kind of see how far you've gone. Like with regard to the 2012 round, how far have you gone? .ZA is managing .Africa, as .Africa fared, over time. We need a new domain, like for example, .Abuja, .Lagos, okay, .Yoruba, .Hausa, okay, .Igbo. There are a lot of community domains that will come there, but I think we need to push more of that value. And such presence of ICANN in this summit is good, but it's kind of granting to push that forward makes a lot of sense. not despising the fact that, or not neglecting the fact that the OTT, that is the over-the-top application, too, as Alex got a space with respect to business, SME in particular. Some have gone to all those OTT, to push their product, put their services. But notwithstanding, we still have a lot of opportunity with the new GTLD. So ICANN can do more to help advocates group, NGO, even to put more effort to get the government to take some proactive measure. Because policy, when we have policy that direct that should be done, then we'll see progress. So I think that gap is with that kind of advocacy and getting government people to really listen that this is important. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jimson. That what we are saying now is that there's the need for the push to for policy advocacy by stakeholders, so that the government can also intervene, especially as it regards funding for the new GTLDs. Thank you, Dr. Jimson. Now, another, Yovi, I think I would come to you no, Bob, let me come back to you here. How can stakeholders in the African business community work together to address the challenges of affordable access to new GTLD and their associated services?
So I think when we talk about affordable access to new GTLDs, one, first of all, might want to appreciate how much does it cost, for example. Depending on who you talk to, especially my brothers in Nigeria, you could sometimes be told, affordable is relative. What is affordable, what is not affordable to you might not necessarily not be affordable to me. But anyway, this is why, as part of the program, it has been a very deliberate recommendation. And for us in the program implementation team, it's run project. So the program is implemented in terms of individual projects. One of the projects there is what I just mentioned, the applicant support program. And this is in realization that regardless of the cost of application, as you know, it costs money to implement the program, to receive applications, to evaluate, to contract. In the process, there's a lot of things that happen. Lucky will tell you there are panels, there are review panels. All these panels and legal requirements have to be paid for somehow. And ICANN has to run systems that access and process these applications. So that cost is supposed to be recovered from the applications. So in other words, the program itself is not a revenue source for ICANN. We call it revenue neutral. It should pay for itself. The cost of running it comes from the application fees. And that is confirmed in the recommendation of the final report. And this is the actual cost that is currently being worked on as well, and it will be part of the applicant guidebook. So the actual application fee for every TLD that someone is applying for will be highlighted very clearly in the applicant guidebook, and that work is still going on. But in anticipation, regardless of whatever cost they finally come up with, in hindsight, please don't forget that the last round, the application fee was 185,000 USD. So there will be an application fee. The figure is yet to be determined. It will be subject to discussion between, of course, ICANN.org and the implementation review team, and finally will be published as part of the applicant guidebook. But in anticipation of that, that is why we are rolling out, as per the recommendations as well, the applicant support program. which in the preliminaries intends to discount supported applicants or successful applicants to a maximum of 85% of the cost associated with the application process, whichever the costs are, whether it's application fee, whether it's review panels and all those. A supported applicant will be eligible for 85% or at least 85% or a maximum of 85% discount for them. So how can this be deepened? I guess that might not be enough. I think the business community could still come in and probably, come up with innovating funds to support applications, which for some time might not be commercial, for example, but important names that are important for Africa or particular communities. I believe that the business community can always mobilize funding and have a pool that can then be tapped by potential applicants from Africa to apply for some of these names that would either be commercial or not. So those are the two approaches. The applicant support program from the program itself will be part and parcel of this, but also I think the business community could actually consider mobilizing funding or investments that could be tapped probably at reasonable rates by applicants from Africa to benefit from this program.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bob. So we have the applicant support program where people can leverage on. You're also advising that African businesses should come together and build maybe an investment portfolio with which members or African business owners can actually leverage on to be able to get further funding for the new GTL drones. Okay, thank you for that. Another thing, Yovi now. With the
thank you very much.
Yes, with the new GTLDs, I know we have been talking about after having the domain names, you would also need the emails and all that. Now, it is one thing to have a domain name, is another thing for a domain name to revolve around the world. And that is where you come in. Can you take us through the process wherein we can have our domain names around the world in whatever language we might use?
Thank you very much. I'll put my video on so that you can get off, so that you can get me very well. And I also thank my colleagues who came before me. So they make my presentation easy. I have like 20 slides, but I just use one or two of them because what am I expecting from this session? If you see in the chat, I post two links in the chat. You can see in the chat, I post two links. And what I'm showing currently is also one of the key messages I want to pass this morning. In your message, you how we can use these domain names. And talking about universal acceptance, it is a topic we have been talking about since many years now, and this is a good opportunity for us in this summit to take action. So, like Lucky said, we need to act as Africans, and I think that AfICTA has a very important role to play. So, anytime we talk about universal acceptance of domain name, it's not something for the future; it's something for today. When we got .Africa, for example, .Africa, we have 6 characters. We have 6 characters for .Africa, comparing to other generic top-level domain names, where you have 3 characters, and other country code top-level domain names, where you have 2 characters. So with the new generic top level domain names, we have longer characters. That is one. That is one. We have longer characters. And the second one, we have characters in languages or scripts that we are not familiar with. Generally in Africa, we have the Latin script. For many languages in Africa, they are using the Latin script. We are also using the Arabic script in Africa. That is also one of the scripts we are using in Africa. And then we have also the Ethiopic script using in Ethiopia, especially in that country. So because of this situation, ICANN has developed or has enabled communities to be able to use domain names in their own script. Like today, you can have someone in Africa or in other continent that can send you an email in English or in French or Yoruba. He can send you an email, but the email address this person is using can be in Arabic. So we understand that the domain name, part of the email address is the domain name. So someone can send you an email in English, but the email address, the characters used are in Arabic. So this is why the link we have on the screen and also that I post in the chat is very important for all of us, members of AfICTA. I think during our next meeting, or we can report, I'll put my email there. You can report, if you can do that now, fine. You can report to me what is the result you get. Because this website is giving you a link for everyone. You don't need a technical background. When you put your email address there, I prefer to use our professional address. Not the free email addresses, but the one of our domain names. When you put your email address there, you click on check address. And based on the result you get, it can tell you that EAI supported. EAI is email address internationalization supported. So if it is supported, that is fine. That means that your system, you will not need an email from older script that people will be sending to you. So that is key. So I think that is one aspect very important. And my call is for all of us in this session to try to go back to this site, to put the email address of system there. And if we don't have the result EAI supported, please send me an email address. In addition to send to me, you have on this slide at the end, you have a lot of email addresses, info@usd.tech. You can send an email to them, or your program at ICANN.org. You can send an email to them, or I'll put also an email address of DSC Africa team. You can send us an email based on what you get, and then we should be able to help you so that the person managing your email system can also help you. So the other thing I want to raise, which is also very important, is that not just the email addresses, but also our website. So anytime we talk about the universal acceptance, we have two areas to work on: our email system and our website. So website from our company, where we may expect people to fill some information, to put some information, and generally we may have a field where people will have to put their email addresses on our website of our various. So if our website is not universal acceptance ready, our website will not accept the email address in all the scripts that are used today in the domain name system. So again, that we should take action from AfICTA. We take action. We test the email address of our system. You can share with us the website of your organization, and we can tell you if there are some issues on your website or not to be ready. We have a lot of resources on the last slide I'll be sharing. We have a lot of resources, technical resources, and also links, so that you can come back to these links at the end. You can get more information for your technical people. And finally, what I want to also remind us is we have a program we call the Universal Acceptance Day. Please feel free to go back to this link, UA Day 2024. We have a lot of information. The thing is that people, organizations can take action, take specific action, so that we don't continue talking about universal acceptance, we take action. So I want to stop there, and I want to thank you very much for your listening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Yovi, for taking us through that. That is on the EAI and the. I know we do have some UA ambassadors from Africa. I think I know two from Nigeria. Yovi, can you maybe, do you have that in your slide so that people could also reach out and know that these things are possible? Okay, thank you for that. We would, there are some questions in the Q&A port. I will be taking them. We have a question from Bukola Oronti. She's just in conversation. I'm curious how affordable it is for African businesses to take advantage of the African support program as support of government automatically qualifies from using it. Also, as Bob suggested, realistic for African businesses to come together as a team with the needed resources, that is financial. I am yet to understand how the applicant is still beneficial to businesses. Bob, want to answer that?
Yeah, I could give a perspective, and I'm sure Lucky might also, as a first-hand experienced, having gone through this, can also add a few things. I think, why is the applicant support program important? At the end of the day, applicants will be different types of entities. They could be commercial, they could be non-commercial entities. And therefore, the program, targets everyone that is interested to make an application for whatever objectives, but for one reason or another is not able to meet the same application. And I believe there are potential key businesses, but would want to participate, but not able to afford. And this is the category of applicants that potentially would be encouraged to seek this avenue. Remember, domain names are a business at the end of the day, and some of them are very big businesses today. We are talking about around 350 million domain names registered globally today. Of course, we know the bulk of that is .com and .net. In the last round, performance has varied, but some of them have done pretty well. So essentially, on one hand, this is a business, and just like you look at any other business before you decide to invest in it, it calls for the same evaluation from a business perspective for you to make the decision to apply. So it makes it a business decision to go into a new GTLD's arena, and in that manner, that is where the business constituency comes in, or the business community comes in, because that is the business component of domain names. Coming together as an industry or as a business community in Africa, accessing to finance the application process and eventually roll out the business, different sources of funds, and easy or how accessible are our funding today? How affordable are bank loans, for example? Can the business community, for example, make that easier by pooling funds that interested startups or small businesses could actually then leverage for purposes of this, enable to support and grow them, so that one day it makes returns. So I believe these are business discussions. So there is in the business community thinking about or support businesses that are interested or in particular names from Africa. I see Pierre also has a hand up. So those will be my comments. Thank you very much. Good question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Another question here from Nandifa. I hope I got it right. Is there any financial support to, okay, I think we have, okay, is there any financial support to encourage registration support? What will be the permanent established implications of the phased implication? Would anyone want to attend to that?
Here,
okay, Per, please.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, this is Pierre Dangino, VP for Stakeholder Engagement, in charge of Africa and from ICANN. In fact, I wanted to, and Bob said it quite clearly, I mean, in terms of whatever support is available. But he also said it's about entities, you know. So how do you really regroup eventually in Africa to have whatever sort of pool to be able to go to the support to benefit from it is quite up to you. It's not the way ICANN will be doing this thing, but we know that, of course, you request any new TLD, whatever, as an entity, and you abide by whatever the guides, you know, the applicant guidebook, you know, says. So I would say there is some homework maybe to be achieved, to be done here. And then question or suggestion might also be for the like of AfICTA to see how best, you know, one could sensitize and get together within Africa to see how to go for this. But what we are trying to do here is that exposing to you what is possible, the support that is possible, and how to get, you know, to that support. So this is some homework to be done here. But and before I also wanted to chip in on what Yavi said in terms of the universal acceptance, in terms of, you know, the EIE. Again, to inquire whether there could not be any sort of Nigerian initiative. You know, I quickly touched on it yesterday when I mentioned the Coalition for Digital Africa, where we do have, you know, different projects going on. How best to organize, say, for instance, Nigeria with the different, you know, languages that you have. The job here is about, you know, having your scripts, you know, developed. We do have some sort of support, but you get to be also organized, you know, locally. Again, I'm seeing, you know, maybe there's a role to play your industry and AfICTA as well. So if that's the case, probably you might need to continue the discussion with, say, Yaovi and of course, Bob. So yeah, that was my quick comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Per, for that expo. We would leverage on it and hope to use it to the advantage of African business owners. Without further ado, we have gone thus far. I would like to come back to you, Dr. Jimson. As we all know, the ICANN business constituency represents the interest of business users in the ICANN ecosystem. I know that AfICTA is a member as an association, but what will be the benefits and opportunities and advantages for African business owners to be part of the business constituency, especially as it regards, especially for their input into the policy development process of the ICANN ecosystem. You can see there are a lot of questions concerning the applicant support, funding, and all that for the African businesses and our financial capability to engage at a global level. Now we want to be part of, I know a lot of African businesses want to be part of the international space, and the ICANN ecosystem is a good platform to start. Perhaps you could take out a few minutes to highlight the benefits of membership, and so that we might we might see maybe some African businesses might be able to join in. Dr. Jameson, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair and Vice Chair-elect for West Africa, AfICTA. It's a loaded question, and let me, before going to it, appreciate Pierre for that intervention, Yalvi for the clarity of universal acceptance, and now and giving us confidence that we can do our testing, be sure that yes, it will be operational when we do adopt it, and all the presenters too. Appreciate all the input. So surely we'll take advantage of that, Pierre. You are one of us, and you're always concerned about our interests, so we appreciate that. I believe the next administration in AfICTA will take it up. We have new chair-elect, that is Ms. Landi Esna. We also have a new deputy chair-elect, Richard Tanda from Kenya. So they are all listening. So, and of course, our outgoing chair, Tabo, is also here. So all of us will put heads together to see how we can maximize this opportunity. But to the questions, yes, in 2012, I led Africa to join the BC ICANN. And then for the first time, we have Africa in that organization. It's been, and for 7 years, I was an officer, and we made a lot of impact. Number one, since we join in, we see a lot of benefits. We get to know what is going on internationally, and we are indeed involved in policy development activities. We've added value. In fact, our businesses globally has been balanced since we joined in, because before then, Africa was missing in the business constituency, and that business constituency was particularly tagged as American and European organization. So with us coming on board, it was indeed balanced. My business into data centers, we do cybersecurity, we help clients mitigate their challenges with regard to digitalization. So it is a fit for purpose organization for us to be involved in and to take part in the policy making processes. So I would like to encourage other businesses that in the internet space, we can't afford for the internet to collapse. That's another interest of ours, because we live on the internet, so we want to contribute to its stability, particularly after the United States government discontinued their oversight of October 1st, 2016. The United States government relinquished their oversight of the internet. Of course, through ARPANET, United States government funded the internet and ensured its growth and commercialization. And now that we demanded that the global community will manage it, then we should be there to manage it. So from October 1st, 2016, USG relinquished to the internet community, and we are part of the internet community. So we invite you, other companies, to join us there in the BC, so that we can look at that aspect of competitiveness. Like Bob and Yalvi, Pierre, they've talked about new GTLD. The competitiveness, is it tilted towards the West alone to benefit the West? No, not really. You can see the applicant support program. You can see all the engagements that Pierre is talking about. So giving us opportunity, okay, to a leverage which even the developed would not do not have. So these are benefits, these are opportunities, and we need to now look inwards as we have been challenged to take the best for this, to take this good route to projecting our businesses globally. So join us on in the BC ICANN. The website is www.icannbc.org, and you can download the application. You know, if I don't even know download this, it's just online, it's digitalized, just fill in the information and submit your application. And in my role there, I make sure that the terms are really favorable to companies, to African companies, developing nation companies. So the terms are quite favorable, like 70% discounting for membership dues. So it's quite a huge discount. So join in and listen in, and then be part of it. Okay, be part of it. And it's a learning opportunity as well, huge learning opportunity. Thank you very much. So I'll stop here for now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jameson. Excellent. It's actually a learning opportunity. My company happens to be a member of the ICANN BC2. Currently, I have, which we joined in 2015 after the outreach at one of the similar outreaches at the AfICTA Summit, and it has been a very awesome experience since then. There are so many opportunities for us out there to be part of this policy decision making. Okay, I'm going to give a minute to every other speaker for a roundup. I know Mr. Lucky Masalela wants to give one final bit. I know he's dying to do so. So, Mr. Lucky, I will give you the floor first. I yield the floor to you.
Thank you, Chair. Not dying, but itching. Chair, I think what I would like to share here is what the next round means for the continent, and that it's creating a unique value for the entire continent. And it means that this is an opportunity for each city, each county, each province across the continent can now have its own name that they can use to sell, whether they are tourism, cultural events, and any of associated events around that county, city, or province. And it means that this is an opportunity for us to regroup. A question was asked as to how can we do this? My belief today, Chair, is the domain names historically have been extremely costly to acquire. In the previous round, to acquire a domain name, it was $185,000 US. Now, you need to recover your money in 3 to 5 years, and it is very difficult to recover $185,000 US in 3 to 5 years. So the business model and the business case for the future has to change significantly. We have to take advantage of the applicant support program that's in place. 2, we have to reorganize ourselves, whether under AfICTA or we organize ourselves under the Coalition for Digital Africa, or we establish a different vehicle that will be a tripartite. One, at the top of this leg is your business, which could be a private business, or it could be your municipality, or it could be your city, or it could be your county. That becomes the sponsor or the owner of that name. At the next level, at the next leg, it should be your registry, the operator, the entity that will be responsible for the administration of that specific domain name. On the third leg, we bring in what you call the RSP, which should be the back-end provider. The back-end provider provides the management, administration, the technical support of the entire technical ecosystem. And when you combine this, be able to, as a continent, as a force, be able to apply for this or participate in this next round in an affordable manner and a more concrete and condensed manner without having to stretch ourselves into multiple pieces, and also chasing for this support program. But those are some of the things that need to be considered, that need to be discussed. We are commencing to engage with various stakeholders who are interested in this next round. And I believe we need to have more than 20 African countries participating in the next round. I thank you, Chair. Those are my closing remarks on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Lucky. Excellent one there. Bob, any closing remarks?
Yeah, I think Lucky said it very well. The DNS or domain names is indeed a business, and if Africa organizes herself properly as a business community, as players in the DNS industry, there's definitely an opportunity. The African DNS space, as Africa, is barely scratched, and I think ICANN is finalizing a report that will demonstrate this. So there is definitely opportunity here. From a next round perspective, ICANN is keen to highlight the key milestones so that as a community, we know what will be happening by which date. Our registries can take advantage and be backend providers for other applicants out there. So let's make sure that we are pre-evaluated, when the evaluation opens, because we have Africa, and there is no reason why they should not apply and get pre-approved. Of course, for those who want to apply but feel they may not afford it, there's an applicant support program, and that date given are the dates of launch. So let's take note of this date and let Africa and as a community plan to be part of this round effectively. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So Africa should prepare to be part of the round. Yovi.
Thank you very much. I want to thank colleagues who are testing the email addresses. That is very good. So no worry. If it's saying AI not supported, please send an email to us or go to uasg.tech website. Any email address there, send it there. Talk to your people in charge of managing your website and email address that they need to do something. There are solutions on UASG website, and watch this website again for there's something you can do. UA Day is for next year. There's a deadline for application if you want to do something. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yovi. Ladies and gentlemen,
Photograph, please.
Yes, just a minute. We will take the photograph immediately after I want to round up the session, and then we take the photograph. So I want to thank everyone for joining today on this insightful session on the role of new GTLD in promoting innovation and competition in Africa business landscape. We're grateful to the BC, ICANN BC, making this, for the effort in making this event possible. Throughout our discussion, we have explored the potential of the new GTLD to empower African businesses, enhance their competitiveness on the global stage, and foster innovation within their respective industries. The valuable insights shared by our distinguished panelists and lively engagement from all of you have truly enriched the session. I'm positive that today's discussion has expanded our understanding of the opportunities and best practices associated with the new GTLD. As African business owners, we hold the power to drive change and shape the future of the digital landscape in our region. It is crucial to stay informed collaborate, and broaden our horizon to ensure that African businesses can leverage new GTLDs to their fullest potential. ICANN BC, as a key stakeholder, is committed to supporting our endeavors and advocating our interests. I encourage us all to remain proactive in seeking collaborations with ICANN, governments, and other stakeholders to advocate policies and promote the use of the new GTLDs in a manner that aligns with the unique needs and aspiration of African enterprises. On behalf of AfICTA, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to ICANN BC for sponsoring the event. For your commitment to promoting innovation and competition in Africa business ecospace is truly commendable. Thank you all. So time for photo. I yield the floor back to the program director.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I had a news buzz from, of course, the mentor and, of course, the leader, founder, when he said, Vice President-elect West Africa. Okay, we'll get back to that later. Okay, there's pictures of used our session to ask feedbacks. The feedback session is actually on, and we should be shifting. We have 8 minutes more. We're supposed to be shifting to the virtual exhibition platform where you get to see all our sponsors. We, like the moderator, the chair of the last panelist said, we appreciate everyone that was in that panel. It was awesome. It was inspirational, listening to legends and legacies. You know, I was looking out and I saw that .Africa, you know, shared. Okay, when I get to that place, I know I'm going to steal one myself. I have an old one to showcase at the anniversary point. Okay, that being said, I think technical, are we done? Are we seeing response in the feedback?
Yes, you got responses right to the poll, right?
Yes. Responses to the poll is open.
Yeah, so it's closed now, but we have the results shared. We can.
Okay. Okay, results shared. Thank you so much. I see that my cybersecurity expert is already gearing up. We have just for virtual. Technical, can we take 5 instead of 7? So that we go into the next session, the 5th session, the second day of the 11th AfICTA Summit.
All right, so let me quickly take this photograph. Are we ready? All right, so I'm going to count down 3 as usual. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Nice shots there. Thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate you.
Thank you, my guy. I hope your voice is not sure.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that said, can we take 5 minutes for the virtual? Or we